Alright, what's up guys, welcome back to a Grind Cross video, and today we're going to be doing our update for December. And if you don't know what we do here, every month on the 3rd day, we always do our Grind Cross update because, well, the game came out on the 3rd, so that's how we always do it. So we're all constantly keeping up, and when we do get to the 12th month, we're going to do it on the exact 1 year anniversary, so it should be pretty cool. Which will be a Wednesday, so that'll be one day after the 1 comes out, so I may not do it straight away because, well, we're going to be busy with the 1. It's going to be quite insane. So before we do start, I want to quickly say, did get quite a little feedback in the last video, which is why there's going to be quite a few changes during this tier list, and going forth it should be a little bit better, but I think just for right now it's going to be a massive change from this one to the last one. We did add 1 extra tier, plus I mean a lot of characters came out this month. We had like double banner almost every single week, kind of insane. And as well, since these do get quite a lot of views, I wanted to showcase it again. I am doing a pretty banger video pretty soon. I'm teasing it a bit on Twitter and also my community post. I'm going to throw it on screen now so you can see both of them. It's coming soon, boys. I'll probably get another week and we're done it. It's going to be insane. You definitely want to subscribe just for this video. It's going to be mad. So yeah, if you are new, definitely subscribe. You don't want to miss that video when it comes out in about a week's time. But yeah, before we do start, there is a little bit of disclaimer that this is a tier list based on the overall, I guess, game. It's not just PvP, it's not just PvE. Tower trials, you have raid bosses. Currently, right now, there's a final boss, so that's going to be counting quite effect. And also guild boss as well. So when you see certain characters higher than, I guess, what you would normally see on a, I guess, like a PvP tier list, it's not. It's going to be different, right? It's an overall base game tier list, so don't be confused. And yeah, I'm good. Without that, let's just jump in. Okay, so on the screen now, you can see the actual tier list from last month. So obviously, we got a bunch of new characters. That was the King of Fighters, Halloween Gopher, and obviously, was the Eldris too. You can see a lot of characters being added. Probably one of the biggest months for Grand Cross, because we got like a dual banner like almost every single week. It was quite insane. And then now we'll be changing up. So what I'm gonna do is head into Photoshop, move things around, add in a new tier, because obviously I want to split things up now. And then because look at D is very crowded. C is kind of like getting a bit of people kind of saying, oh, well, certain characters do more than certain characters in like another tier, so I'm just going to split it all up, and I'll get back when I do that. Okay, so here we go. Everything's been changed. A lot of stuff. We're going to go from the top to bottom. Mainly, the first thing is the new tier, the S. Well, I guess the S tier. I'm kind of making S tier very, very exclusive, and obviously we added the F tier, which is the bottom tier, and we kind of split it, kind of like A to D, we kind of just move things up and down. You're going to see a lot of things did change that I'm not going to really cover too much because, well, I don't think they're quite important. But I will explain everything. Starting from the top. So even though nothing's really been deranked, and even though Zeldris and Kyo were in S tier last month, they are still pretty much S tier. I just basically made a tier above that, which now S tier. If it makes sense. I think when we start doing these in the future, it'll make a little bit more sense. But yeah, go for... The reason why we moved Gopher down, or I wouldn't say down, we just kept him in the same tier and moved the other guys up, is Red Gopher, he's still good, but like Green Gopher is just way much better. Like there's no reason to use Red Gopher no more. Just always go with Green Gopher every single time. And then obviously Lost Fane still there, super OP. Their area, I think a lot of people may disagree with, but right now in PV, like anything related to Grand Cross, she's like the most reliable character for guild bosses, any raid bosses. Obviously you can't use them in Hell, but if you're trying to clear the game from normal to extreme, she's very good at it. Any PvE content, Tower Trials as well, she's very, very good. Also, Tower Trials is a new thing, so that's why you've seen Esterosa rank up. I'll get into that in a minute. Ruger's going up since technically he would have went down with how that changed the tier list, but I think he's very, very good now. Obviously, still, he pretty much carries the pen meta right now, or meta, but the pen team. Pretty good character to use. Very good counter towards Elizabeth, in a sense. Like, Elizabeth does kind of ruin his day, but the fact he can regen lower attack-related stats, so the shield from Elizabeth does do nothing. Works very well with Corrosion as well. And then Mai is not seen too much play, I'd say, in the last few weeks, but I think now with the addition withdrawal, she can have like a really, really strong team that I showcased a few weeks ago. And Speedy did use in the tournament. Super, super good character. I can't wait to try and pull Green Drill in about 2 weeks and see if we can pull off the little combo on Global. So yeah, Esterosa, a reliable PvE character in almost most like PvE content. Also as well, one of the better characters he used during Tower Trials, so that's why we're going to rank him up as well. And then I guess Athena's been ranked up too. I believe she was in C tier last month, and not to say she's improved. I think a lot more people realize that, oh wait, her passive is actually really, really good. If you don't know what she does, when you kill someone, it lowers their ultimate by 2 gauges, which is actually kind of massive. And Seaton did showcase her very, very well and opened a lot of people's eyes towards her. And you're seeing a lot more play of her, even on JP. Like, to be fair, like, for a fourth character to run Athena isn't the worst idea, especially if you're going like full single target characters. Counters the all rush meta pretty well. Red Escanor dropping down since he was part of the Final Boss Rugal event missions. We had to use him, and now he's going to drop it down since, well, that's no longer out. And as well, Elizabeth just counters this team so hard. The shield just stops the amplifier from working, and he pretty much has nothing. As well as PvE content, he's usable. Don't get me wrong. That's still why he's in B tier, but not the greatest. Plus as well in the Crimson Demon, there's so much better characters you can use. Granted, it's still one of the better characters, but I mean, you can just use anyone else really. Like Red Dere just does the job as well. So moving up, we have Diane, who is going to be the highest probably ever since she came out, or I guess when the game launched. But yeah, she's been moved up now, mainly because once again we have the final boss right now, and she is a big part of that. And also as well, like top tier character to use for the guild boss if you have a build up. If you don't, then it won't work. But if you have a 6/6, you are gear HP defense, you're going to get like 8k points. That's why I'm doing JP right now to defeat the current guild boss. So she's definitely like one of the better characters to use during PvE content right now, since she has a final boss and also a guild boss pretty much to use with. King has been moved down. He's no longer like a must-use character since, well, pen teams aren't around too often. Yes, if you run into a pen team and you don't have King in the back, you're kind of a bit screwed, but you can still sort of deal with it, especially if you have Elizabeth. There's more ways to do a pen now rather than just putting King in the back. And yes, since there's no real pen teams running around, there's no reason to use King. So once you start seeing more pens, then you start seeing more Kings, and then that really does move up. So now we have One Speed. Green One Speed is dirty, a really, really good character now with the addition of Kyo, and also with the fact that we can also use, well, Athena now. It's very, very good. And then moving on to that, we have Derpis. I've kind of moved him up because I just realized his passive is probably one of the better passive used in the game. Like, there's not that many characters you can use in the game for the 4th slot in PvP, but just like, you know, auto clearing, you can just increase your crit chance, your crit damage as well with him in the sub. Also, yeah, PvP just absolutely destroys anything. A really good character. Harmless has been moved up as well. I put him in D tier, the lowest tier in my last run, and I just kind of forgot we did. I kind of just preemptively just put every rare character in the bottom tier. But this guy I forgot. He's actually really sick. He's used right now once again during the current guild boss, which you have to use 4 blues, and as well he's used during the new current raid boss with the trio. So obviously you do need to bring 4 blue characters. Perfect for mono blue. Not really too much in PvP, but PvE content, at least right now, he's probably get the highest as possible. And then probably going to be dropping down to at least C tier to D tier when the final boss and also guild boss does change. Okay, so moving on to Patrona, the same thing. She's currently using the guild boss and also final boss, so that's why she's a little bit up. Frowdrin, I moved down. Yes, he's good, but you still got to invest too much into him. It's too much to even counter. And try and get that passive to work against, like, you know, a festival character like Lost Fane and Elizabeth, who have full max CC stuff. It's just not going to work. Just don't use him. You can if you want to invest into him, but we're not going to really rate him based on his max stats, right? And we also have Mikasa dropping down. No longer, we have such very, very strong hitting characters now, and I don't think the actual, like, the stole comp, I said last time I saw, the stole comp where she just buffs up, it's just no longer gone. Plus people have realized, well, Mikasa kind of has to die first, so that's why she's gone. Slater, I moved down as well. He's a little bit higher since I kind of rated him for the, you know, the health difficulties. And once again, this tier list is kind of just based around good uses. Is that kind of what this tier is? It's like they have a couple uses, and that's what pretty much what Slater is. So Grima, I moved up the red one. PvP content, I kind of said in the last, I think maybe 2 videos now with the tier list, that there's no point in using him since he has such low CC, you're probably not going to start first. But now with the addition of Super Awakening, you can kind of get away with using him in the sub, especially if you are using certain characters. And yeah, not the worst if you don't know what to put in the back. And you can now get away with it since there's more ways to get more CC, when just before was just basically level 18 cosmetics. Bluegill, I moved up as well. Kind of underestimated a bit last time, and I actually realized afterwards, yep, she's actually pretty good for one usage, which is literally just Jericho Link and also farming the red stages and farming books. Pretty much that's all she's used for. That is a big part of farming, so the fact you can use it is not too bad. And then Slater and also Aaron have been moved down. I believe last month, I could be wrong, but I think there was like a time where they buffed up the SRs, so I think that's why they were moved up. But then also as well, I mean, SRs, you can't really afford to run them too much now. And Slater, yes, he's good, and he works in quite a bit of teams. And you know what? I versed someone on JP using Slater, and I actually got slapped by him. So Slater is still one of the better SRs, and also Aaron, kind of the same thing here. Only real use is more or less in raid bosses. You can use in PvP, but like you might as well just use their area at that point. And as well for PvE, you can get away with using Aaron. I think I'm beaten down because I did realize as well that most people don't really have cosmetics for him because you did have to pay money, and that's why he's probably losing a little bit of points for me. And then moving on to DT now, I'm not going to go over the new Legends and Sweet Temptation characters. Pretty much the main reason why is because, well, literally the only use for them is to run in a sub slot for, you know, clearing raid bosses and doing death matches. That's literally just it. So they were in C tier last time since they did have a massive use, and they still, like, if you don't have these characters with cosmetics, you're taking L's in doing raid bosses. Like, they have a very, very big important usage, but still it's only one, and the characters are bad themselves, so there's no point even using them. Zara Trust, once again, I'm moving down. You can use them in, I think his only use right now is probably literally in the Grey Demon during Extreme. He's not too bad because he does have the Shatter effect, but still not too good. We also moved down Barn as well. I kind of overrated him a bit during the Red Demon as well. A bit moving down. Malaska as well being moved down. Just, she's really not that good. The blue one's not the greatest. The red one's obviously a little bit better since she does have the revive ability, but still not too good. And as well, now we're moving down SR Hawk Elizabeth. She's not that good no more. Like, she was used, I guess you could use her during like a pen team for PvE, but like now we have Rugal, which I know most people may not have, but man, there's no reason to use her. There's better characters now with AoE. You can even use like Lost Fame to do auto farming rather than use Elizabeth. She's not that good no more. Okay, so moving on now, we have the new characters being added to the tier list, and boom, you can see it on the screen now. We added them all in, and I'm going to explain everything here. So firstly, obviously, I don't need to explain it. Goddess Elizabeth is one of the best characters in the game. Of course, you're going to go in S tier. Moving on to A, we have Hawk, which I guess most of you will be surprised, but right now for PvE content, he's one of the better characters to use, and he does lost his little buff right now is time limited. So at the end of this year, he's going to change back to like 15%, I think it is. And yes, then he's going to drop off. So right now, he's just going to sit in A tier for the next, I guess, month, because he's actually good during this month. Next, we have Green Draw, who did just get added this week, and he's so good, man. Like, his I mean, if you want to use the Resistance commandment, you can, but you may want to use Zeldris. But massive, massive counter to all rush teams. And pretty much like, you know, Elizabeth, you can disable debuffs and also buff skills, which is massive towards Elizabeth, King, also Gopher. And as well, his passive for free, he disables ultimates for 2 turns. And you can constantly keep on lowering it, keep on sealing it for 2 turns. A really, really good character. And then moving on, we have the B tier now. So also on Hawk, I feel like it may drop down, but right now I think they're sort of decent. They're not too good, they're not too bad. A bit tricky since we don't know too much about them, but I feel like if they're 6-6, which I don't want to put as a requirement for every character, but they are pretty decent. And as well, you can pretty much get good RNG, you can lower the ult gauge, get ult on 1, completely kill a character. It's pretty sick. And then we have next with Draw. So Blue Draw is I think a little bit worse just for the meta for right now on global. So right now we have a heavy, you know, ult rush meta where when it comes to JP we have like Sario and Tamiel, which Sario works very well with Blue Draw because you can kind of like taunt and then increase the resistance. It works very well with him. And yeah, he's just kind of a good taunting character, petrifies as well. Nothing too bad. But I think right now, at least for the meta, I think Green Draw is probably a little bit better. And then now we have Frowdrin, who is very, very bad to be fair as a character, but he does have a pretty good passive where when he dies, he does increase everyone's ultimate and removes debuffs. So very good and like kind of trolling. The only reason why he's in B right now is I'm guessing most people don't know how to burst him. So if you see him in PvP right now, you're probably going to end up killing him and they're going to get a free ultimate win. That's why he's high just for this pretty much month. And after a month, he's going to drop down quite a bit. Pretty much like Adventure Elizabeth, where she came out, she's kind of like no one really know how to verse her. Same with Deldry, like I think more people to clock on what he does, they can kind of just avoid it. And well, at that point he's kind of useless. He can taunt, so that kind of makes him a little bit better than what Elizabeth was. You have to use Deldry with Elizabeth to get that taunt to work. And yeah, you kind of sit in the B tier for now. Next we have Glock Singer, so a new character that should have been added a while ago. Well, I guess that's the green one, but the red one's sort of decent. Okay, so Glux Singer's passive is kind of cool. Basically, every time you rank up his cards, he does get an extra orb. And as well, he does have a remove debuff from all eyes on tier 1. So basically like King. So you could essentially replace King. Not really, but you could essentially replace King. And also as well, his other skill is to basically just allow rank 1 skills. Which if you crit Lost Fame, and then you disable everything but rank 1 skills, it's not too bad, and it works kind of well. Commandment is kind of it just every time you use 2 or more skills, they lower the attack related stats by 30%. But yeah, definitely the more usable Glux in here. But other than that, he's not too great. That's why he's sitting in the B tier. Okay, next, moving on, we have Diane. So Diane, I didn't really showcase her, but she's a very, very good sub for Giants, like an actual unreal sub for Giants. If you didn't watch my last video where we used her in a sub slot and we beast up my Titan form Aaron, who does count as a Giant, he got 40% extra damage. Like, it's insane what she can do. The passive is good, but then her kit overall is kind of a bit underwhelming. She does have a very, very strong ultimate, so if you do have a 6-6, it may be worth using in the actual front line, but she just does disabled ultimates for 1 turn on a single target. And the same thing as Glock Singer, where she has to only allow rank 1 skills up to 2 turns of one of her skills. Not the greatest character. Like, overall her kit isn't too great. She does a very, very strong ult, very good passive. Only thing is, there's only literally 2 Giants in the game you can use, which is Deanne, and obviously you can't use Deanne with Deanne, and you can only use Draw. Most people don't have Titan Aaron like maxed out, plus he's not the greatest character in itself. And then I guess we have Patrona, but they don't allow you to use Patrona's passive in PvP, which is like, if that was the case, then I think Giants would be actually proper meta. It would be kind of insane. And in the future as well, we're not going to see too many Giants to come to the game. It's literally only Draw, Matrona. Maybe that like the backstory you had where you had the other 2 girls. Maybe you may see them, but I can't see them being that good. And yeah, overall, they didn't really focus too much on the Giants in the story, which is why we're probably not going to get other characters. And then maybe in like a 2 years time, we get like a festival draw where you finally get around to getting there. Maybe it should be a little bit better. But yeah, a pretty good sub for Giants if they were ever good in the game. And then lastly, we have Glock Singer, the green one. Absolute horrible character. Yeah, he's horrible. Increases defense and attack depending on how many people are alive or dead. Just not the greatest. And then he has an attack saber, which, I mean, it's good, but then why would you use that when you can use Gopher, like the red Gopher? And then instead of getting an upgrade, you get a poison card, which is just kind of bad. So there's no reason to use this guy when you have literally Gopher. It makes absolutely no sense. So he's going to sit in the D tier because you're not using him anywhere else anyway. But you can, because he does have the attack saber. So if you somehow don't have Gopher but have Glock Singer, which doesn't make any sense, you could use him somehow. I don't know. But yeah, that is all from me today. That is the December update. Hopefully, I made it a little bit shorter this time around, so I think that's kind of a positive note. And yeah, I definitely updated the layout so you can now just see everything rather than watching the full explanation. But if you did just skip to the end just to see what the layout is and what the tier list is, there you go. Pretty good, I think, overall. Let me know your feedback because I'm always improving this. And yeah, overall, it's pretty good. Bear in mind, I don't think I said at the start, this is just based on everything in the game, not just PvP. So that's why some characters are... I mean, if they're good in PvP, they're going to be good in PvE. But yeah, you get my point. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and peace.